Karting Series, we thought we'd catch up just before the first round of the 2021 season. Thomas Martens joins us from his home. Hi, Thomas. How are you? Good to see you, and good to see you keeping well.
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Now, your aim, as per the first ever Race to Rally video, is that you want to become the youngest ever World Rally Champion. Obviously, there's a lot of competition. Kalle Rovanperä from Finland, Petter Solberg's son Oliver. You know, you've got people from obviously Belgium currently in the championship at the moment. Thierry Neuville running with Hyundai at the minute. But obviously, I understand that the current world record is actually held by the late Colin McRae, who was always of the mentality, if in doubt, flat out. And that provided us with some spectacular driving through the stages, but also he had his fair share of crashes. Firstly, this, I understand, is not only going to be your debut in Senior Rotax, because you were in juniors last year with GKS, a 10-year journey in karting actually comes to an end this weekend. What has prompted the decision?
The decision, it was we are driving a lot of rally and rapid rally course, so it's time to to do the switch to rally because we can not do the three things at the same time. It costs money and it takes a lot of time.
Now, I think one of the funny things is obviously I'm going to bring up the hashtag that you know, the moniker that's been given to you, the TheGingerOne, which has is emblazoned on the side of your Fiesta R2. But it just goes to show that despite having a different hair color, it's something that people can recognize you with. You know, who came up with the idea is my first question.
It was my dad has a client who wants to do the design of us, and he came up with the idea, the TheGingerOne. So they make a whole design of it, and that was the beginning.
And I think that's going to stick with you all the way through your career, Thomas. And I must admit, for someone to decide to do that kind of thing is quite noble. Apologies for the noise in the background. You know, you've been training in Finland. You've been behind the wheel of a Skoda Fabia, I think a WRC2 quite recently in Finland. You've been testing on a variety of different surfaces. How are things going in terms of the preparation for what's going to happen in 2021 for you personally?
It's actually going pretty well. It's going pretty well. I think we went this year already one time, and we are going another few times, and we want to drive our first real rally race with our Ford Fiesta R2. So I'm excited for this year.
And obviously, a very different skill set going from karting to rallying. But obviously, when we saw you at the final round of the BNL Karting Series last year, you know, we had a combination of dry and wet weather conditions. I think that's pretty much good preparation for rallying, despite it being on snow, gravel, tarmac, around many different countries around Europe and also internationally. It's very good training for anyone that wants to get into rallying to go karting, isn't it?
Yes, because I admit I was not the best rain driver, and when I started rally driving, I became one of the best rain drivers. So it really helped actually, and the karting helps especially for the mind and for the fast sections, because you have to be very clean in it, because if you're going to be too heavy with the steering wheel, you will go into the tree.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go off at the Europlan when it's absolutely soaking wet either. And I've seen quite a few people do that over the past couple of years, having commentated at the Home of Champions. But your story is very, very interesting. Obviously, Koen Lemmens, you know, circuit director at Karting Genk and obviously owner at GKS, who you've been with for quite a long time, obviously through your journey in karting. To hear the story that your dad, Korn, went into GKS, to the Genka kart shop and wanted to buy a kart for you. And then you ended up learning on the small circuit before getting the opportunity to race. And one of the things that I really like about your driving style is the fact that you're very, very smooth, you're very precise. And on that first video, and I'm going to refer to this quite a lot in this interview, the fact that your mechanics was like saying, don't do any stunt, no Brad Pitt, no stunt, no half measures on terms of overtaking. It's if there is one and you can go for it, go for it. Don't go into it's a bit like when you're committing through, let's say, an easy right, and it's a two in the R2. You've got to be fully committed. You can't hold back, as we've seen before. That the rally drivers of modern day and also years past really puts it on the line, and they literally try and find every millimeter possible to get that extra 100th, that extra 10th off of that stage time, which could make all the difference at the end of a rally weekend.
Yes, that's very important, because it's not that we are driving with some amateurs. We are driving with real good drivers. So you have to do everything to be on top. If you're the guy who is thinking that you're driving on the track and thinking you're gonna win this without doing anything, because some people say to me, it's easy to drive karting. You don't have to do anything. It's just pushing the gas and the brake and turning the steering wheel. But when they are really sitting in the car, they drive 2 laps and then they are done for the whole day.
Yeah, I think also karting, I think, like we see with a lot of Formula One drivers, Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc, Kieran Chandok, when he was training for Formula One and Formula E, karting is still very much part of your life in terms of your development as a driver. But I do have to ask a very, very interesting question. Now, it's obviously through your recent trip to Finland. The training regime over there, cold plunge pools actually outside in the river by where you're staying, running out in just your shorts, your trainers, where it's like -15, -20 degrees Celsius. That's a lot of conditioning to take on, especially at a young age. But I'm sure it's to help you prepare for what's to come, isn't it?
Yes, of course, because I think the fastest rally in the rally championship is the Rally of Sweden in the snow, and they say it's also one of the hardest rallies that there is, because you need to be you need to attack very hard into the corners, because with your spikes you have a lot of grip, and when you're attacking more, you will have even more grip.
I mean, one final question, really, Thomas. Firstly, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. I know it's going to be a busy time when you head to Genk very, very soon. I would imagine that's probably going to be within the next few hours or so with your dad, Korn. But to now cap it off with taking one step further, going into Senior Rotax. There's about 35 drivers, including yourself, to go racing at Genk. You looking forward to it?
Yes, of course. I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, all I can say is all the very best of luck this weekend. I'm unfortunately not going to be there in person, but I definitely will see your race number and your race suit full in prominence this weekend at the home of champions, Thomas Martens. We're going to keep in touch with Thomas on a regular basis. Obviously, looking forward to hopefully having some further chats, and maybe we might have to get your dad involved on the odd occasional one as well. So Thomas, all the very best of luck this weekend at the home of champions for your final foray in competitive karting ahead of your transition to rallying. Thank you for your time.